just didn't hear what he said. What is it, like Howard?
No.
Henry?
No.
That never stops talking. That was funny. That was way funnier than you guys gave that credit. Alright. So y equals k is a horizontal line. So I'm trying to find the line that would split this area into two equal parts so that this was equal to this. So, first of all, we know the area of that region from part A. So, what is the area?
2.986.
Okay. So, the area from part A was 2.986. I want to cut it in half. So, I want each part to be, I'm just going to leave that as 2.986 over 2. I don't need to divide it again. I don't have to. So, how did I find that area? I went from 0, this is in terms of y, we're going like right minus left, right? So I went from 0 to, I think it was 1.3 something. Yeah, 1.307. And when I went from 0 to that 1.307 and did 5 minus y minus e to the y times dy, I got 2.986. So if I put a 1. That's the lower and the upper y value of my shape. So this is x equals 5 minus y. This is x equals e to the y. So because it's a horizontal line, I have to look like sideways, not top to bottom. So if I put a 1.3 there, that goes all the way to the top of my shape, and that gives me the full area. They're saying, where's the horizontal line that would cut it in half? So all you got to do is say, well, I just want half the area. Where would that be? And you don't even solve it. So that's it. Like, you're done. Let me make sure you understand what you're doing. So I want to know from 0 to what would give me half of the area that I originally started with. Now, I don't have to solve it. That's a much bigger issue, but you're not going to have to do that. You just have to be able to set it up.
How do we know this on that?
Don't worry about it. All right. Does that make any sense, Rich? Let me give you another quick example. Let's say it was.
If you go to 3C.
Is there another one? Okay.
So, on the inside of the equation, you have the 5 minus y minus e to the y.
Yeah, that's right minus left.
Oh, okay. Right minus. Sorry.
Because of y values, you have to have the y's in the. Because you're doing right minus left.
Then I have to have y's. Yeah. Other questions on this one? So I could just easily say, like, so this is an example of how I can change it. Find the line where that'd be a tough problem. But I could say, like, find the line where 1/3 of the area is below this line. And then you would just put 0 to k still. And this would be 2.986 divided by 3. And you would just change the fraction. Let's jump to 3C because if that one's similar, let's get to look at that one too. Yeah, it's the same idea. So did we find?
There's no like area to say.
We didn't have an area this time, so that's a different problem. Okay, so I want to put a line that's not even close to halfway through, but we're gonna go with it. At x equals k, where this part is equal to this part. If you have an area, like if they said the area was 12, you could just go, okay, I want to integrate from 0 to k, and I want that integral to equal what? 6. So you have a number, you can just do that. In the absence of a number, if I cut it in half, what's true about the two sides? They're equal. So what you can do is go 0 to k and k to whatever the end is, and so those two equal to each other. So let me look at that. So this is 0, right? They intersect at 0, and then what's this other point here?
2.30.
Okay. So, if I integrate from 0 to k, and they're equal, shouldn't that be the same as the integral from k to 2.3? So that's how you can do it without like a number there. So I'm going to integrate from 0 to k of 4 minus, I'm just going to do 4 minus f of x. And that equals the integral from k to 2.3 of 4 minus f of x. And if I can solve that, which I'm not going to, I don't have to, but that would make it so that these two areas are equal, which would make it so that line is cutting the areas. And
Well, the info they give you, can you find the area of R anywhere? So if you found the area of R and then just...
you could, it's just an extra step. Did you find it?
Oh, I didn't, but it's just like you can set it up that way.
Yeah, I mean, you could find it, and then you could do the like 0 to k of 4 minus f of x equals whatever area you found over 2. But that's fine too. I just didn't feel like find the area, I guess. So. But if that makes more sense to anybody, then they're both good. Someone else on their hand up with something. Yeah.
So, if you would change this to 3 regions, then how would you do that? Would you just want to do the area of 1 and do it over 3?
So if I said like make the line so that this part is 1/3 and this part is 2/3, for example,
Oh.
then I would put a 2 here. Because I would want this to be, I'm not going to do it.
Okay.
I've never seen them do that. So,
Okay. They only divide it into equal parts usually.
yeah. Just looking through quickly again, so part B, cross sections perpendicular to the x-axis, isosceles triangles, so I can change the x-axis to the y-axis, so I can say that change isosceles triangles to something else. In part A, they asked you to rotate around the horizontal line y equals -2. I can just change that to like horizontal line y plate. I mean, so I'm not making major changes. I'm just changing like a little tweak in each thing. What else? I think Eamon was next. Or did we get yours? I can't remember.
Oh, my question was just that, if I ask for the tangent line, does it matter what we give in here? Can I just...
No. It's not a multiple choice. They put it in their own form and you match it up. If your response, they can't. Unless they say, like, put it in standard form or something. Which I've never seen them do. Yeah.
You do 10B. Like, I get how to set it up.
So 0 to 4 of x to the 1/2 minus 1/2 x. Do you agree with that setup?
Yeah. Wait, isn't it squared?
Wait, which part did you say?
Parentheses.
A or B?
B.
Yes, that's square. And do you realize x over 2 is 1/2 x?
Yeah.
Okay. So we got to square that. That's no issue there. So, do you remember like the first term squared twice the product of the terms and the last term squared?
What?
Square plus 8, 2a.
So, like a plus b squared.
Oh, equals a squared plus 2ab
Yeah.
plus b squared.
You take the first term and you square it. You multiply the two together and double it, and then you square the last term. And that's just like a shortcut for foiling. Because you know, what's a times a? And then you'll have a times b, but have it twice. So that's your 2ab. And then b times b is b squared. And I made a happy face. That's like the shortcut I'm going to use.
Oh, I see it.
How do you not see that?
Oh, wait.
I gotta make the like nose and mouth bigger.
Alright, there we go.
There you go. That looks like it's number.
Wow.
Insane.
So I could do that shortcut or I could foil. Do you care which? Is the shortcut okay? Alright. What's the first term squared? What's x to the 1/2 squared? X. Now I gotta multiply the two terms together. So that's gonna give me 1/2 x to the what? So what's 1/2 x times x to the 1/2? What? I'll get to the negative in a second. So it's gonna be 1/2 x to the what? 3 halves. Because you gotta add those powers. But there will be 2 of these when I FOIL. So it's really just x to the 3 halves. And it was minus, so it's minus x to the 3 halves. And then what's 1/2 x squared? 1/4. I mean positive 1/4 x squared. That's probably the hardest part of the problem is just squaring it. But now I gotta work it out, so I'm gonna integrate to the 1/2 x squared. Add 1 to this power would give me 5 halves, multiplied by the reciprocal is 2/5. Add 1 to the power here is 3, multiplied by the reciprocal, so 1/12. From 0 to 4. We're really gonna take advantage of that. We don't have to simplify rule here. Are you with me so far? Anybody need more? That was not convincing. You're good?
Yeah.
Okay. Now just plug in the 4. And then what's going to happen when I plug in the 0? It's going to be 0.
You just write that as your answer.
And then I'm going to stop, yeah. I'm done.
You have to put -0?
Nope.
You suggested?
That doesn't matter. I can do this though. If I want to.
They just mean
Like what?
Now you have to put it all
I think I
over.
would too.
Now you have
Let's do this.
It's like in your
I rated that test and you're just like, okay,
Oh,
And
okay.
the fact that denominator don't.
What else?
you have extra time at the test, just do
What
that.
else?
to
What
your
else?
answer.
What else? 11 what?
Don't do that to your answer. It'll bring down
Also,
your
11
holistically.
Can we just do all of them? Yeah, actually, it's really great.
Fine. You don't have to do it. 11 is a giant.
Except we're all.
Yeah,
Like,
That's no, I guess.
that would be really nice, yeah.
Okay. So do A or don't do A?
Don't do it. Don't do it.
A is good.
That's
A
Do B?
equals
2B, 3D.
Okay. So B, they say there's a horizontal line y equals -2. That cuts through that. So I want to write, but don't evaluate, an integral of that finds the area below this. Right? Which equation is that? The side one or the x to the third one? The one on the bottom is the x to the third one, right? Because your side like wiggles back and forth, so that's the one on top. So that is that equation. So I know my top and bottom. I know my top is 2, and I'm going to subtract the bottom, which is that x to the third minus 4x, but I need boundaries, I need endpoints there. How do I find that x value and that x value? Put in solvers. Just go solver, solve, x to the third minus 4x equals -2, comma x, and your 2x values, which are 0.539 and 1.675. So I'm going to integrate from 0.539 to 1.675. Your top equation is -2, your bottom equation is x to the third minus 4x. And then times dx.
Wait. How am I gonna compute a different
You have to solve enough to talk about it.
answer? Wait, so what are you plugging in for that?
Where?
In the solver.
So I went solve -2 equals x to the third minus 4x, comma x.
That's what I did.
Yeah, I think you probably have something else.
Oh, you know, I did get the right answer, but you have to split.
Oh, so sometimes it just gives you one. There's an arrow. You have to like scroll to the right to get the other one.
That's
And then,
Yeah, there's more than one.
usually they're
Yeah, it only shows like the first two, I think, and then you have to scroll to find more.
Cause these probably intersect again.
Yeah.
Somewhere else, yeah.
You're finding
Because
what's
it's a side
below-
graph, it just
finding
keeps going,
what's
right?
below R?
The part below the line. So this line Y is negative 2.
Okay.
The part of R that's below that. Right? Alright, so C, cross sections perpendicular to the x-axis. So am I working with x values or y values?
X.
X values. So what are my boundaries?
0 and 2.
0, 2. What's the area of the square? So like length squared or x squared. So length squared. And what is the length of each one of these cross sections? Sine minus bottom. So yeah, sine of pi x minus x to the third minus 4x. Yeah, and then you plug all that in, which I don't really want to do right now, but you get 9.978. Plug it in. Alright, for C.
Yeah.
Okay. For D. Are you guys okay back there? I'm not saying shut up, I'm saying like, can I help you? No, yeah, no.
He doesn't
More
know.
no's than yeses, so I guess.
He's so confused, he doesn't even know
No,
what
did
he
you
needs help with.
You can slow down or do you have a question?
I just need some personal help, like afterwards, I think.
Okay. Like a therapy session? Or like,
No, it's like one-on-one.
alright, right. Okay, so part D. Alright, so it's depth of a pond instead of height, but it's the same idea. Like, I want to integrate the area. So, like, if I look at any one part of, I mean, they're cross sections, so they're everywhere, but what they're saying is that they're all rectangles. The area of a rectangle is base times height, right? If I call that the base, how do I find that? Top minus bottom, right? So I'm just going to put like T minus B for now. And then height, they're just calling it depth instead of height, so it's like going down into the ground instead of up. It's the same idea, right? The same area. And they're saying that height, or that depth, is 3 minus x.
Wait, but does it say though? Isn't it? Wait, never mind.
It's saying y-axis. Why is it x value? I'm confused about that.
The distance x from the y-axis, that's like an annoying sense that just means like x goes this way. X tells you how far away you are from the y-axis. Like, it doesn't need to be in there, they're just being, they're trying to make it harder. So, the area, I want to integrate the area. Which means I want to integrate the base times the height. The base is the top minus the bottom. I'm running out of
Are
room
we
here.
trying to find area or are we trying to find cross section? I'm so confused.
We're trying to find the volume of the cross sections. To do that, integrate the area of each cross section. So I find the area of one of these little pieces, like that one I drew. And then the idea is there's millions of these. Like as I go all the way across, there's okay. So I want to find the area of one of those and integrate it from 0 to 2, and then add up all of those areas, which give me a volume. So I got like slices of paper that are being like stacked on top of each other, and it makes like a 3D shape.
Yeah, I got that. I was confused.
Okay, sorry. So the base of each one of those rectangles is what? Top minus bottom, right? So sine of pi x minus x to the third minus 4x. Then the height of each one of those rectangles, or the depth in this case, is what? 3 minus x. You got your times dx, and is it 0 to 4 or 0 to 2? Or there's not, I don't know why I mean 0 to 2. But 0 to 2 because I want the x values that are in that shape.
How do we know that it's x?
Is it because it says distance x from the y-axis?
I hate that phrase. That's
Me too.
ridiculous. It's this. Like this, they gave me an equation where the depth has an x value in it, so then I'm kind of stuck using x values at that point.
Well, because couldn't you manipulate that to software-wise though? Could they do that?
I mean, that'd be like extra evil. I don't even think they're that evil.
Okay.
So if I were putting this on the test tomorrow, all I would do is change this equation to any. I can change it to anything. It doesn't matter because you don't actually have to work with it, right? I can change it
You
to
just have to multiply it.
yeah. I can change it to sine of e to the x squared or something. And sit your butt down while I'm talking. Please sit down. How many times has that happened this year?
That's really good.
That's 3 more than like anybody else. I do not like it when you get up when I am teaching because it interrupts me and the class. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions on? This is a hard one. It's not an easy. Remember I told you like part A is supposed to like you guys even said don't bother going over part A. B is a little harder, C is a little tougher, then D is supposed to just kick your ass. But that's what it does. Does that help some on that one though?
I think you tried to explain it yesterday and I didn't understand it.
Well, let me. Are there other questions? I just want to get through as many as I can. Since I already did that one, I'd like to try a different one. Yeah.
14.
Julie, if you stay after for a second, if we don't have time, I can teach you that quickly. 14 what? All of it?
14 is really hard to do. I started with 14b, but I think the only reason is because I don't think you put a pi.
Yeah.
That was one of those we had a pie yesterday, anyways, but yeah. I should have put a pie.
Should have.
Alright, I should have, yes.
Okay.
So,
That was supposed to be a question.
area of R. Doesn't even give me the boundaries.
No.
Right, so I have to find that first. So I'm going to have to set this equation equal to 0 and put in solver. And that comes out to negative 1.373. So that I need that because I need like my left-hand boundary. So then my integral is going to go from negative 1.373 to 0. What's my top equation? Am I missing something here?
X of x is the top equation, and then 0 is y equals 0 is the bottom. I think it's just f of x and that's it.
Yeah.
So, for the top equation,
No, f of
It's
x
the
is the
tangent
curve.
line of
That's just L.
I think y equals 0 is the boundaries.
Y equals 0 is the bottom.
Y equals 0 is the x.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
that's the
but
bottom.
That's like when you say well f of x is just L, like they don't even give an equation for it. It says that L is the distance line tangent to the graph at x equals 0. Yeah.
Gotcha. I don't even need that. I don't know what I was looking at. Okay. So, I look at this shape here. What's the top equation? F of x. What's the bottom equation? 0. So you don't need that 0, but then times dx. Then you can solve that. You get 2.903, but that's just typing into your calculator. Sorry, that's so quick. Is that okay for A? Trade, is that right?
I have a question actually really quick. So, you know like how the other ones you said like you couldn't technically find the top equation? Is it because that's x equals 0, so it's just 0? So, like, you know in like number 1 we did
from two different tops.
Yeah.
So this is your top equation. This line is not any part of that shape. I don't know why.
No, just the axis.
This is your bottom.
The y-axis.
That's like your right hand boundary.
So it's just
That's why I went to 0. That's not a top or a bottom. That's the right. Left, right,
okay.
top, and bottom. Alright, I'm going to rotate around y equals -2, which is down here. If I'm rotating around a horizontal axis, talk about x values or y values. Or x values. So those x values are -1.373 and 0. Which equation, so your two equations are f of x and this one is y equals 0. Which one of those equations is further away from where we're rotating around? Shh. F of x is, and how far away is it? F of x minus -2 squared, right? Minus, and then which equation's closer? 0, how far away is it? 0 minus -2 squared. And then times dx. Okay for B? God, C is. I'm not doing C. This is gonna take 10 minutes, and it's not worth it. I'm not gonna run the test. I won't put C in the test. Skip C. Yeah.
So, for number C, all you have to do is find the L equation, right?
Yeah, but then I gotta run through like 2 different intersections to find that. Like I know this is 3. I mean, I just have to do a lot of calculator work to figure out what those 2 points are. Then I want to find the equation between those, and then I can do it. I just running low on time.
Let's just not do it on test. Yeah. Just gonna cancel that.
We're just gonna cancel that.
I would actually appreciate if you did 2C again, like Julia said, just to get clarification. Unless anybody else has a question.
Well,
I don't know, it's just
I think you said like use F5 and use the derivatives, and like I wrote that down. Like,
at some point, you gotta watch the calculator video over. You know I'm right.
I'm not good at the calculator.
You know what would help with that?
why is your F5 is fine?
So here's what I'm thinking here. Yeah, I'm not gonna be here on Friday. So if we take the test tomorrow, Friday becomes like a dead day. I don't think anyone in here is gonna be upset if we do this again tomorrow. And you guys take the test Friday when I'm not here. Does that work?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, so then we can then I have more time to answer questions. I'm not like skip this, skip this, skip this.
I'm not here Friday. Oh,
I'll
did I take the test?
force rate.
Did I take the test one day?
Yeah, we'll do
Is that what
wait. I have the option.
Reading up Monday, Mr. Gable.
I have the option to give you a different test.
Okay.
Okay. It's not gonna get harder, but
Well, you could just do different problems.
yeah, it's just not fair because you'll know what's on it. So I might give you a different version.
So like it's like that. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Just like you skipping over the day out. Excellent. I'll just grab this.
I did like the diagrams on previous versions. When you asked that area, I'm just curious. Are you asking for you, or are you trying to help us? You were like, couldn't you find an area and cut it in half? That's what I said, the two things
Like when I went through it, I didn't go out and get in there. It's just that's how I set it up. I said like, whatever.
Sorry for talking in class a little bit too much today, but
We started laughing at
I was talking about how bad I thought I did on the test. But anyways, can you just show me substitution problems for me? One of these? Yeah, because
And basically the same commission stuff that I just gave you, except for I was out of town on Friday, so I had to move to Monday. Yeah, I'm missing more than that. Yeah, I just passed.
So, what do you want to do? Give me a,
I think there's a good one on
what is that, like YX?
there's a good one on it.
Everyone shut up!
Oh my
That
god.
was authorized by me. Don't get mad at him. I asked him to do it.
Not bad.
We'll don't get any extra mad at him. The other thing that is good about this is I want you to see your tests and have a chance to like reflect on or ask questions on that too. And I'm like, I'll be done with it by tomorrow. Almost done, but I'm not yet. So that'll be good. We'll have a day to like look at those two.
Yeah, crying
Will
out.
this test be going in this quarter or next quarter? Or does it matter?
It doesn't matter to me. It's a pattern.
I like especially
Still recording. Timestamp with yells. Headphone warning. Don't.
why would you keep watching?